Alright everybody, what's up? We are going to look at the Pineapple Grips Sim Art stuff today. I got the deluxe kit in just a couple days ago. I've been through it. Everything looks pristine for shipment overseas. Packaging was immaculate and had no issues with anything that I've seen so far, so everything's good on that end. We are going to go with the Fanatec Oracle Red Bull Racing Formula One wheel, their limited edition that they've made. Yeah, what's up? What's up, Peter? So Peter from Pineapple Grips is actually in the house, so make sure to hit up the comment section if you have any questions for him and what he's got going on over there. Tons of good products. I've done wheel grips, chunky grips for my old Formula V wheel. I have multiple steering wheel covers. All are awesome. Recommend all of his stuff. So I had to do this Sim Art kit when it became available. Just too cool not to try to do it. What's up, Sean? I'm in no way affiliated with Pineapple and Peter. This is just all mine, so I have no say one way or the other. I can say that he has been very helpful, was checking in on the shipments, making sure everything arrived okay, because it is a larger package. So yeah, not being paid to say anything that I ended up saying today on stream, which at this point I don't have anything bad to say, but we'll get to it. So you can see on the screen, he has a 69 step instruction manual that's up there on the site, that goes through first disassembling this wheel to then attach all of their parts. One thing that I did end up doing beforehand, just because I didn't have a second set of hands today to help keep the board level and find that for the mounting holes and things like that. So I have actually already mounted the board up on my wall. I did again go with the deluxe version, so I have 4-inch standoffs that mine mount to, instead of just straight the board to the wall, and then that's kind of it. So if you didn't run standoffs, he includes little protective covering caps, so you cover the bolt holes that are covering that goes into the drywall. Anchors were included, had no problem. 6mm hole in the drywall, those guys popped right in, so everything went well. So that is up there and ready for when we get to that step. I just didn't have a second set of hands when we get to that point to try to keep everything level, hold the standoffs, hold screws, line up the boards and all that. So cool. Let's get into the disassembly. Hopefully my overhead shot is a little cleaner. On the next one I realized that the sizing was wrong on some of my other build videos, so apologize for that. Alright, so first step is we are going to remove the rubber covers from these toggle switches, which they are just on there, like you can just pull them up. Set them to the side. Second step, removing the top rear fasteners. We will need a 2mm driver. Welcome back, Peter. had gotten an error. Thought something was wrong. I think we're okay. All right. Those two kind of self-tapping 2mm screws are out. Part 3. Going to remove the 8 front wheel plate screws. Got 4 3mm, 2.5mm hex keys. These bottom two will loosen up the back plate. Step 4, we're going to use instructions say to use pliers. I have found 8mm works pretty well. Deep well, they're not tight, not super tight at least. Okay, those guys are off. Step 5, it will be removing the 3 rotary encoder knobs. He did, Peter and Pineapple Grips did supply a little tool here, the spudger as they would call it. There's that. 3 of those are off. Step 6. We're now going to do the same thing we just did with the toggle switches and remove these the nuts here. That was a 13. Again, they're not super tight, so you could just use a pair of pliers or something like that if you wanted to. Got it. All right, next up, step 7, we're going to unplug the paddle connector, so got to flip this over. And the back plate that we had removed earlier, we can now pull these connectors out. Next up is removing the paddles. Removing the paddles will give access to the one screw hole that we'll end up needing that's back here behind them. If not, you'd be hard pressed to try to find something. Two bolts that come in from kind of between the grips and the underneath side of the paddle assemblies themselves. Careful not to pinch the wires. It's usually a pretty tight squeeze between the wires and some of the bolts there. Can't find the screws, it's because they've been sucked in by the magnets. And we will do the same thing for the other side. No sir, we're doing the Pineapple Grips Sim Art kit. Like I showed a minute ago, but basically we're gonna take this whole wheel apart, and then everything is going to go in an exploded view up on that panel that we have up here next to my other wheels that are on display as they're not being used, when they're not being used. I believe I had already gotten rid of my original Formula wheel by the time the full wider kit became available. Lose every single screw to all these magnets. All right. We are on to step 9, so we're gonna remove the grip retaining screws. They are pretty small Phillips. Okay, now we're going to gently lift this rear cover off. So, remembering we will have the flex print of the QR pins still attached. We will disconnect that ribbon now. Then So instructions here say to remove it. There's actually you can see it, there is actually a retainer on the back side of it, so all you have to do is kind of squeeze that and to unhook it. Not like some of the other ones that just plug in. This one actually had a clip connecting it. I think we're on step 11. It's unplugging the thumb wheel and rumble encoders. So unplugged. Our rumble encoders, which go into the grips, are here. Thin wires, so try not to pull at the wire. I'm trying to pull at the connector. The rumble motors are actually clipped in just a bit into the board itself. You can kind of see here. Yeah, I don't know if that's just on the newer wheels that they stopped that. And this is, again, I bought this, and this is the new Red Bull wheel, so they may have changed and upgraded their type of connector, but yeah, there's actually just a little squeeze locking pin, locking tab on the back of that. Now we're actually going to remove the PCB, the circuit board itself. Looks like 6 Phillips head screws here. Not a fan of any of the screwdrivers that I have. We'll use Gigantor here. While I'm using the gigantic one, this is, if you do get the deluxe kit, you will need a very long screwdriver to go through the standoffs. The screws go inside the standoffs to mount them, so you need, I believe they're 4-inch standoffs, so you need a screwdriver that will at least cover that for the deluxe kit that has the plexiglass front on it. All right. Now we carefully lift the PCB up and out. Just like that. It looks like there's a step 14 in the manual shows that there is a LED lens. It should be here if I'm orienting correct, but I don't have anything in this position here. Unless it's that piece that was stuck. Oh, nice. That was dumb. colors back. What's up, Brandon? Gotcha. Yeah, thanks. That lens must have just pulled out with the other end, and then dummy me dumps the whole thing over. So looking it up real quick just to see what color orders the stuff was in. Alright, red's in the middle, yellow on the inside. Alright. Grip disassembly next. Those that have done the chunky grips or the wider faceplate install, I'm sure are familiar with this part of it. Guess I could have done that. I just went to their website real quick. I definitely like the 300mm range better. I know these particular wheels at 270 were far too narrow. I'm going back up, Peter. You're talking about this here. What's up, Kev? That's going. Making progress. Alright, I believe we got the grips off. Yeah. There's that There's the warning in number 15 to not turn the wheel over like a moron, like I just did, but there we are. Next up, it tells you to fold that in half, the wires for that, and then we will bring wheel back together. Yeah, it's cool as you got to watch it. Again, for those that have not seen it, I've already got the thing on the wall, the foam board, whatever we technically call that. Not too difficult to install, definitely helps having a second set of hands. To get it all lined up, and especially while you're trying to do all of the standoffs and such and get that going together. I really like the SRM adapter. I use that on actually the M4 wheel that you can see in the picture. So I will run that wheel on my SemiCube base. And then I also have the round Fanatec BMW, the M3 GT2 V2 round wheel. All right, grips are off and reassembled. Next up, we are taking the quick release off. Being careful with that. Don't want to have it repeat. No, you actually run SimHub, or I'm sorry, you run the SRM software and it will program and kind of just still run through Fanalab as normal, so you don't have to program through SimHub necessarily. Yeah, it's a good product. I've got two of them. I know a few others that run in our normal league also have them. No complaints. All right, running out of desk space. Okay, next up we are going to remove the QR pins. Oh, if you're using that to run, if you're using SimHub, I think to map all of them so you don't have to reprogram everything in iRacing at the switch of a wheel, then you probably have to do that, yeah. do have to take care when you're pulling that out. You kind of have to bend it a little bit and kind of make it fit through there. It won't go just straight through. I do see that I missed the step that the actual QR bolts just can go right back in. That now. Gotcha. Yep, those four. Alright, so next up is actually just then removing the paddles. Nice. Yeah, I figured for the majority of it, it's all going right back in one way or another here. Gotcha. Yeah, which that one then you guys include, so it's not like you got to source your own screw. The one that's additional that's needed is included with the packaging. All right, paddles are off. We are through step 22, and now we're moving into the second part of the build, which is now actually installing all of these parts onto the provided 3D printed plates and mounts. So first up is bag 1 for the quick release body. So, and since I have a QR2, it is this. All of the, so everything that's on the board, which you can see a couple set screws or screws in for each one of the items. And those attach, think much like Semicube, with kind of the dovetail type of design, so just slides on until it goes. No more. All right, QR2. So QR2 is in there. I have now put the plate down in there with the beveled edge sticking up. Make sure I grab the right one out of the pile that's sitting here. It's a 2mm bolt. A smart person would line this up to where it's straight. There we have it. So it's in with our mount on the back. I say have an option for white rubber covers in the PCB to store in part 1. Oh, okay. So these could pop off, is what you're saying, and just put them inside the QR. Makes sense now that I'm actually seeing it. I was curious on the picture. I couldn't quite figure out what that was in there, but now that I'm seeing the board out. So if the man himself says to throw them in there, we will throw them in there. Likely just to prevent them from falling out at a later date and finding them randomly on the floor. All right. Let's go to the wall. Oh, it's done. They're in there. Can't go back now. All right, one piece is up. Bag 2 is for the quick connect or the QR pins. No one will ever find it. I think it's okay. Just a matter of getting that ribbon cable kind of twisted and flexed and bent enough to where it comes down. I think everything's okay. Mess with the wiring later. Yep, I gotcha. Yeah, I'm looking at the pics on your site now, so shows it kind of wrapped a little nicer than what mine is for now. I will mess with that later. All right, I believe we are on step 29. We're going to bag 3. which is now PCB assembly. Doesn't look like it slots through any of the openings, but it does line up perfectly here with these. And we will want toggle switch covers. Toggle hardware first. Screws that we had originally used on the PCB attachment. Of course, now I'm dropping them. Six screws. Remember the massive screwdriver fitting the heads of these the best. That's good info. All the bags are compostable material. We're going to put the toggle switch hardware back on. Then the rubber covers back on. Take the 3 rotary encoders, their stuff back on. Like that. Gone. Yeah, it's excessive, but everything we do in sim racing seems excessive, so here we are. Says to reattach the rotary switches as shown. This can be done by hand. Assume that means the knobs themselves. We might be heading back to the wall. Number 4 is going to be the rear bottom cover. Okay, and that's just going to go back on with Phillips tapping screws that attached it earlier. Yeah, if you ever pull it off the wall, reassemble it, and slap it onto a rig. Making sure I oriented it correctly. Looks like it lines up with the picture of 37. Oh, forgot to go to the wall. Looking good. Bottom row is in. Alright. Bag 5. 35. Step number 38 is going to be the grips. Doing the left grip, since this was all upside down, should make it this one. This is a press fit part. Let's go ahead and do bag 6, and we will do 2 walls at once this time. Again, just push fit. It's good. It's not overly snug, but it's snug enough to hang on a wall. To the wall. Alright, next up, got the big one, bag number 7. And this is for the wheel plate. We are on step number 42. I guess I was wrong earlier on the board. Those knobs are now, I'm seeing them in this picture, so I'll have to pop those back off. We are putting, also included was 3 of these, so they're going to basically replace and mimic the rotary encoders. That. I'm going to bring the wheel plate back in. Crucial to put this on upside down before you flip this over. Keep holding them as you flip. And I assume we will reinstall screws. goes. Middle. Okay, there's that. And I believe you know what time it is. To the wall. All right. Next up is... What's up, Ricky? Yeah, this thing is awesome. Build quality is amazing. Yeah, everything, like I said, had to ship overseas. So it was very cool. Now let's totally confuse myself again with left and right paddles. We are in bag 8. I did all of this wrong. Yeah, I'm seeing that. I think I'm backwards here, so that's all right. We'll restart. It's very possible that I mixed them up. What I had in my bag 9, because we were upside down, so my right one would have been the left one. So I think I've either mixed bags 8 and 9 up as I was pulling them out to not make as much noise on the stream. This will work out much better. It was. I think I maybe mixed myself up. All good. Not missing anything. That's the key part. To be proactive and pull everything out of bags and set them right back on top of it to not have excessive background noise, and I think I screwed myself up. That's awesome, Morgan. Glad you're able to get that back. Alright, we are getting dangerously close to another trip to the wall. Do it. We are on to bag 10 of 12. And we'll go ahead and pull 11 up as well because they are basically the same here. That will be for the paddle modules themselves. I was waiting for that comment to come in there. I don't have any windows down here in the basement. Okay. Onto the screws, catching magnets. adapter goes on the inside. Gotcha. Gotcha. Yep, did it wrong. Let's go back and fix the other one. I think I was in the same boat again with as I did with the paddles just now and had things disoriented. All good now, I think. Swap them, swap the position of them. I believe we are happy now. We are firing on all cylinders. It helps to read too, or scroll down to the next steps that actually show where it's going in. We'll get there. You can type it faster than I can get there and get the bolts to go. But yes, it is wall time. Taking a moment with these to actually orient the wires and kind of tuck them in the background so they're not laying around. I only see one open spot left, which works out really, really well because I only have one part left. Alright, bag 12, step 54. I have the, I believe he called it charcoal version, and it's the deluxe, as I have the standoffs and I will have a clear plexiglass cover that's going to go over the top and mount onto these standoffs. There, you got two tabs. Gonna go into the top of this metal bracket on the inside of the plastic rear housing. Let's click. That was my initial thought too, Morgan. Flip you back over here. Let's get rid of me. Put the wall up so you can kind of see. So finished through step 56 now. 57 was what I had already done with the supplied standoffs, drywall anchors. It also included the caps in case I didn't do the kind of deluxe version. Leveled it. Again, I had help holding that in a level and trying to poke the hole as pictured to mark the holes. Drilled 6mm diameter hole, seemed to be perfect for those anchors. I did do the painter's tape and Ziploc bag underneath each hole and through the drywall anchor install to capture all the dust so I didn't have to clean up all my shelves below. Again, I had the deluxe version that has the standoff, so I weren't mounting the board just by itself straight to the wall. Got it. There that is. Come back to desk and go to the wall. Final piece. There we have it. A little better light on it here than what I have, but yeah, this thing is awesome. Now for the last tricky part. Let's see if I can do this on my own. So with the deluxe kit, let me come back here once more. So they do this, you get two washers, so one on each side. So the plexiglass is going to go in the middle of that. Two that are already started. There it is. Pineapple Grips Sim Art Deluxe version with the charcoal board and the white lettering. That was a lot of fun. I love taking stuff apart, putting it back together, or making something different out of it. And there we go. Thank you all for joining. Thanks to Peter and Pineapple Grips for all of the help and support along the way. And appreciate another great build from Pineapple. Yeah. See some of you all on track at Donington tonight. And the rest of you, have a great week. I'll talk to you all later.